Welcome back everyone to the channel, and today I want to talk about who is the real official opposition in the United Kingdom, and who is it that people who don't want the next Labour government should vote for. Well, what's always important for me is wanting somebody who is anti-establishment, who can win an election hopefully and change the direction of this country. So the two candidates we've got is Nigel Farage from Reform UK and Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservatives. And something striking has happened today when they've both been asked the same question on different news outlets. And they was asked their opinion on what's happened to Marine Le Pen, the leader and president of the National Rally, with the conviction that she's just received in France, barring her from 5 years from standing in the presidential election, which she was the favourite for winning. She's quite often compared as France's Nigel Farage. From what I understand, the National Rally was quite a right-wing party. She's modernised the party and now it's more of a centre-right party, very similar to what Nigel Farage is trying to do here in the UK. So she's basically been accused of using money when she was in, well, not her personally, the party used money they was given to for their MEPs in the EU and using it as part of their party in France. Now, most people, and I agree, think this is absolutely rubbish. It's just basically the same thing as what happened to Donald Trump in the United States. If they can't beat him, they can't beat an anti-establishment person who might come in and wreck the status quo, they're going to try and put him in prison or worse. So Nigel Farage and Kemi Badenoch was both asked what they thought of this, and this is very telling of which one of them is part of the establishment and which one of them is not part of the establishment. So first of all, let's take a look at what Kemi Badenoch said when she was being interviewed on LBC.
Take you to France, where Marine Le Pen's protégé Jordan Bardella is saying, and I quote, "French democracy is being executed with that decision on Marine Le Pen." Would you concur with that?
No, I would not concur with that. Where there is a ruling, people have been found guilty of an offence. I do not think that we should start undermining the institutions that helped create Western society. The rule of law and having equality under the law, where no one gets to escape consequences of their actions, is really fundamental. If we do not have this, then we become like banana republics.
You see, Kemi, she will not say what everyone else can see, that this conviction on Le Pen is just a way of stopping her becoming the president of France. She gives a proper political, mainstream, established answer. And I was really disappointed with Kemi Badenoch on this clip, because if you set your minds back to when Kemi first ever ran for the leadership of the Conservatives, I think it was back in 2021-ish, she was talking about transgender. She was going to make sure that there was 2 different bathrooms. There would never be men in women's sports. And since becoming leader, it seems that she's becoming basically a Lib Dem like the majority of Conservative MPs. So I'm beginning to think that Kemi Badenoch pretended to be far more right-wing, far more anti-establishment to become leader. Now, for all the criticism Nigel Farage is getting lately, saying he isn't anti-establishment enough, take a look at this response when he was asked off Mike Graham on Talk TV earlier on today.
Extraordinary times yesterday in France, where it seems to me, and I said this yesterday, they're doing a bit of a sort of Donald Trump lawfare on her, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, she was going to win, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was going to win. I've been saying for years that she would win. She was clearly going to win. It's quite extraordinary. In all my 20 years in the European Parliament, the only European groups, the only European political parties that ever got accused of misusing EU funds were all the Eurosceptic ones.
Yeah.
Funny that, isn't it? Funny that.
Yeah.
You know, they came after me. They fined me a sum of money because they said one of my employees was spending more time on party work than MEP work. I mean, look, this is a willful, deliberate attempt by a thought in France, and if you look at who the senior presiding judge was, you'll find that he's quite a good friend of President Macron.
So there you see Nigel Farage hold no punches and calls it out for what it is. It is an establishment stitch-up. They could see that this person was going to become president, and the elites, the establishment, they cannot have that. It's just worth pointing out that the National Rally have the biggest vote share in Parliament, and it's also worth pointing out that she would have become president last time if there hadn't been a shaded deal done between the centrist and left-wing parties in France. And I fear that this same type of thing may happen to Nigel Farage if the popularity of reform keeps going up, and it looks like reform are going to be the next government. One or two things could happen. They could try to find something on Nigel Farage, or just make it up to try and get him banned from standing or put in prison. Or what they could do is, if Farage can't win an outright majority, what I think could happen is the rest of the parties will group together, even though the Labour Party, it probably would only have a minority impaired to reform, but would get all the other left-wing socialist parties like the Conservatives possibly, definitely the Lib Dems, definitely the Greens, definitely SNP, to form some type of coalition government to keep Nigel Farage out. Now that would be the first time that the government has ever been a political party that didn't win the biggest vote. But let me know what you think on Le Pen. Do you agree with me? It's the Donald Trump situation all over again. Hopefully she can win the appeal and still stand and become the next president. I don't know too much about France, but if that was here in the UK, I think it would actually make the popularity of that said party go through the roof. So let's hope that is what happens. And what do you think about Kemi Badenoch? Can we safely say, after watching that clip, that Kemi would most definitely not be any good for this country and would just be another establishment figure? Thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and definitely subscribe so we can get these videos out to as many people as possible and give people an independent view and hopefully get a discussion going. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.